Buzz's Retirement Garage. Can you retire under $300,000 in savings? And I have to admit, and I have a confession to make, I've been trying to run with the big dogs, and I'm not one of them. What do I mean by the big dogs? I mean Dwayne and Julie and all the people who have retired with a little over $500,000. The moderate maniacs, as Dwayne would say. Those were channels that I followed and thought I was running with the big dogs, but in actuality, I'm not. So I did a poll about 4 months ago, and the poll is probably reflective more of what my current savings level is. So if you guys remember this poll, I did about 4 months ago. I had over 1,000 people respond to the poll. Whether they were subscribers or not, I have no idea. I did get 100 comments with all types of various comments. So this poll would be, you know how they have these polls that are plus or minus 2 to 3 percentage points you see all the time? Mine's probably plus or minus 20 percentage points. But if you look at this, what was surprising to me, and yes, the numbers don't add up right. That's the way the poll numbers look. It's off by 1%. But if you look at that, 65% of people retired with over $300,000, and some of them well over $300,000. And some of their comments were, "Boy, I wish you had a poll for over $1 million." I'm like, no. But if you see that, 34% had $300,000 or less. Now, some people were getting a pension, so they didn't include that. I'm just talking what you retired with in savings. So if you're getting a big pension, you know, you're not including that. So like I said, the poll numbers can be skewed, but 34% under 300,000. So I thought about starting another channel. And basically the frugal channel, or not frugal, but the low income channel. Because I don't get a pension. Me and Mrs. Buzz only live on our Social Security and what savings we do have. Now, every time I look at, Dwayne's or Julie's, I think, boy, I should be there, and I'm not. Quite frankly, I'm not. I'm under the 300,000 range, to be frank and truthful with you. So, do we have hope? As I'm not a moderate maniac, but I guess I'm a low moderate. What's the word, Dwayne? What's the word? A low moderate maniac? I don't know what I'm going to have to describe myself as, but how about broke? Yeah, that's a good one. Broke. But in all seriousness, I do have a paid off home, me and Mrs. Buzz. It's valued in the $225 range as it stands right now. It could be less tomorrow, it could be more tomorrow. Depends on what the tax man wants, right? Because property taxes here, as you know, if you follow my channel, property taxes here are pretty high in my community. We're paying over $5,200, I believe, a year in property taxes. So, yeah, it's not cheap. And across the street, they're paying over $9,000. They have a nice brick 2-story, so that's a lot of cash coming out, especially, and they're retired as well. So it's a lot of cash coming out. But can we do it? Now, I did a video before about what the expenses are, because there's 2 things that I do almost religiously. Is one, they say don't look at your savings, don't look at your investments. Check them maybe once every quarter. No. I check mine daily. I watch the action in the stock market because I did a video not long ago. I have my E-Trade account. I have a S&P 500 account. through principal, and I also have CDs and some different things that are paying about 4%. Safe money, I guess you want to call it, just in case something happens. So I do look at that a lot, and that's one thing I do. And the other thing I do is I make a list all the time, it seems, of the things that are going to have to be replaced. Like, if I have under $300,000, how much truly is it going to cost me in retirement? What am I going to have to pay out? Now, at minimum, I did this video a few months back, but I basically laid out, at minimum, what we're looking at. So, these are the things that you probably have to buy at least once, maybe twice. And this is just at minimum. And I'm not talking about, people talk about cutting down trees. People talk about their well pumps, because some people are on wells. Well pumps cost a bundle. There's a lot of different crazy stuff. I paid $5,000 for electrical that I didn't have to do, but I ended up doing it because I wanted the house safer. I had the walls open, so I did spend the extra money. Did I have to spend $5,000? Absolutely not. I could have got away a lot cheaper, but my water heater went for $2,000. So I have, and on here before, I put $10,000 for the roof, and people were telling me and because mine was only like $7,000. That was 6 years ago. For our roof and gutters, it was about $7,000. And that was with the nice dimensional shingles and all that. So, and I thought that was, that's a decent price. But I'm getting people telling me in the comments from that video that roofing is like $20,000 to $25,000. So all these costs that you see on here are going to vary depending on where you live and what type of stuff that you get. Whether you get top of the line, middle of the road, depending on what you want to do. I get comments about the dishwasher. I use my hands as the dishwasher, So some people don't have a dishwasher. Some people have a small refrigerator freezer. And so your costs are obviously going to vary. You're going to buy stuff on sale. But these are things that you basically have to have in most households you're going to find. And the prices, I think, are pretty good. You could probably get some things cheaper, obviously, and some things you might want to spend the extra buck on, right? But if you look at this list, and I put ×2 as well, because some of these things you're going to buy in a 20-year period. Say if you're 65 and so 65 to 85, these are probably the things you're going to you're for sure going to have to get most of these things. So I kind of booked it at basically $75,000 to get the things once. And again, you can get a cheaper price on a lot of these, okay? So then if you have to do it twice, and not all these would have to be done twice. You might only need one car. You have a perfectly good car right now, so in 10 years, you buy another one, so you just buy one, And so, and you might go higher on that. You might buy a new car. You might spend $35,000. But if you get a, decent 3 or 4 or 5 year old used car, maybe you can get away with $20,000. Today's prices, right? So just take the 75.6, times it by 2, let's call it $150,000. So, and again, that's just basic stuff. That's not including trips. If a lot of people love to travel. They're going to spend $5,000 to $10,000 in travel. But at $150,000, and if you're at the $300,000 mark, and you're not overspending your pensions or Social Security. In other words, if you're taking Social Security and or a pension, and you're not overspending that amount, and your savings sits idle, which is key, at least for me. For me and Mrs. Buzz, that is the key. As you guys know, every month I put out my Social Security video where I put down what we're spending versus what we bring in, and let's just call it breaking even. Okay, we're breaking even on monthly operational expenses. All right, So that allows our bank account to grow and only use that bank account for, like I said, the water heater, the electric, and some other things that may come up. I could use it for travel. So that under $300,000 can grow as long as your operational expenses are pretty much even. If you're not taking too much out of the bank every month, it's doable to be under $300,000. Now, I may say that, and all kinds of crazy expenses are going to come through, but I really don't think that there's too many expenses that I'm going to incur that are either not on this list or that are super big. So if I can, twice do this stuff, or 2 times within the next 20 years, and I can stay under $150,000, I'm pretty sure I can manage. We'll figure it out. And of course, with the home, that's just the extra. Taking a reverse mortgage if needed, taking a loan out against the house. I mean, there's options that we have. So even though we're not sitting at $500,000 or $1 million or $5 million, sometimes I get down. Like, I got myself into this position. That's a whole nother story for another video. And I get myself down because I watch these other people and I watch the money that they have, and I watch how it's growing, and I see, they're kind of woe is me on 500,000, especially in Dwayne when he lost he took a good hit when the market went down a few years back. And, he had just retired, and he started feeling the pressure of, in a down market, you feel the pressure. So it's definitely going to happen. And the same thing could happen to me. So we have to be careful about our investments. I'm not in a situation where I'm spending more probably on income-based type of, in my E-Trade, I'm doing some things that I probably should not be doing. But eventually this year I'll get straightened out, and with the new $12,000 going against the standard deduction, which we're going to get this year, I might be able to move some stuff around and turn it into a Roth. So there's a lot of things that we could work on and continue to work on to put ourselves in a better position monetarily. So we'll see how things go. But I just wanted to come out and tell you, I redid my board. I think 150 minimum. That's minimum. 150 minimum can get us through. If we're real frugal, we can, shop sales. We can hand-me-downs, all kinds of scratch and dent places. We can find even a better deal and maybe even get that down even lower. So is retiring under $300,000 doable? I think so. And only time will tell. I mean, I could be totally wrong. If something major hits, or we have a super down market, or something just crazy hits, I might be sitting here in another couple years asking for a GoFundMe site or something. Who knows? But right now I feel a little bit more confident. I feel a little bit better, and just hope that things continue in yours and my favor, right? And how you like my shirt? Anyway, I'm in the garage. This is Buzz's Retirement Garage. We'll talk to you again.